To start off this video, we're gonna talk about some of the branches of biology. There are many, but we're gonna be focusing on 12 of them. The first one is anatomy, which is the study of the structure of organisms and their parts. The second is anthropology, which is the study of humans and human behavior and societies in the past and present. Botany, the science of plant life. Embryology studies the parental development of gametes. Biomedicine, medical science that applies biological and physiological principles to clinical practice. Biochemistry, science that explores the chemical processes within are related to living organisms. Virology, which is the study of viruses. Immunology, branch of medicine and biology concerned with the immunity. Cytology, extermination of cells from the body under a microscope. Genetics, the study of genes. Histology, the study of microscopic structures of tissues. Zoology, the study of animals. Now that we've seen some of the branches of biology, have you ever wondered how life started here on Earth? Did humans randomly become a thing? Many people believe Earth started because of a supreme being like God. Others believe in spontaneous generation. And there are many other ways people believe Earth started, like electrical activity, volcanoes, bottom of the oceans, and even transported by meteorites, which can mean we might come from another planet. Who knows?
The characteristics of living beings can be summarized in 8 points. Organization. Life on Earth is characterized by being organized and hierarchized in levels in which the lower ones give sustenance to the superiors, and nothing can exist or function without this complex organization. Genetic code. The genetic code is a sequence of nitrogenous bases that combine to produce words in a language understandable to all living beings, so it is considered to be universal. This fact shows that all living beings have a common ancestral origin. The code is specific and continuous. No codon codes for more than one amino acid. There is no overlap or blanks, so that the reading is linear and continuous. Response to stimuli. Living beings can respond to different stimuli such as light, sound, temperature, chemical substances, among others. Each species has developed mechanisms or sensory organs to capture, integrate, and respond to what happens in its environment or outside it. Homeostasis. Homeostasis refers to the set of self-regulation phenomena that lead to the conservation of steadiness in the composition and properties of the internal environment of an organism that allows it to have a free life. Metabolism. Living beings use energy to maintain homeostasis and life. That means they must take components from their external environment, transform them, and use them for their benefit. Metabolism involves the destruction of molecules, that is, catabolism, and the formation of new molecules, or anabolism. Catabolic processes involve the releasing of energy contained in the chemical bonds by destroying them. And anabolic processes use the energy obtained through catabolism to build new components, for instance, proteins. Growth. Growth implies the incorporation of new biomolecules into the organism, which is synthesized for that purpose. Reproduction. In the genetic code contained in the DNA is found all the information necessary to create a new individual, which will express characteristics similar or identical to those of his parents. Finally, adaptation, ability, and evolution. The world has changed throughout the years and it will continue changing. Every one of the species settled in this planet is forced to adapt and evolve in order to survive. If it does not happen, the punishment will be the extinction. Eukaryotic and prokaryotic cells. There are 2 types of eukaryotic cells, the animal and the vegetable. The most notable difference among them is the presence of the nucleus, the membranous compartment which the genetic material is confined. Prokaryotes are cells without a nucleus. The most noticeable difference is that their genetic material is found in the cytoplasm, in an area called the nucleus. They are also unicellular and can be reproduced asexually or parasexually. They can also have different forms like coconuts, bacilli, or spiral-shaped. The components in all prokaryotic cells include plasma membrane, cell wall, cytoplasm, nucleus, ribosomes, prokaryotic compartments, and according to the type of prokaryote being analyzed, they may have flagella.
In our body is finally regulated by mechanisms that allow us to maintain homeostasis and therefore health. Therefore, disease is the loss of balance and homeostasis. Since a human being is born and with the passage of time he perceives a series of changes in his body, emotions, and social needs, we have tried to define and classify those changes in order to space them and give them an answer in our daily lives. The definitions and classifications have changed through the history of humanity and also depend on the prevalent culture. From here, the definitions of health and disease result. Adolescence is a stage that is characterized by transition between childhood and adulthood, which imply physical and cognitive and physiosocial change. This stage occurs approximately between the age of 11 and 19 years old, while puberty is the period in which a person develops sexual maturity and reproductive capacity, which may have its onset before the age of 10 years. The three physical changes for sexual maturity are chronologically presented for opening the way for the deeper spheres of life. The word adolescence comes from the Latin adolescere, which means to suffer, to lack, what is related to the lack of maturity.
Hi, my name is Monica and I'm going to talk about cellular transport. First of all, we have active transport. This transport spends energy and goes against the gradients of concentration. Next, we have passive. This transport does not waste energy and goes in favor of concentration gradient. It can be simple diffusion, facilitated diffusion, and ultrafiltration or dialysis. Simple diffusion. The molecules cross a lipid bilayer. Then we have facilitated diffusion. The passage of molecules depends on the presence of the integral membrane, proteins that allow this passage. The ultrafiltration and dialysis. Water and some solutes pass through a membrane due to hydrostatic pressure. Then we have endocytosis, incorporation of material into the cell. Then we have pinocytosis. This concept is comparable with the drinking of the cell since the cell incorporates molecules in suspension. Then we have phagocytosis. This process is comparable with eating of the cell because for with the cell it incorporates large quantities of materials in whole cells. The receiver-mediated endocytosis. In the cell membrane, there are receptors to which specific molecules bind, which are then incorporated into cytoplasm. Exocytosis, is the secretion of the material produced by cells. It could be regulated. In this case, the cell responds to a signal to release its products. Or it could be constitutive. The secretion is constant. Now I'm going to talk about levels of organization, and the life has different levels of organizations. First of all, we have the biome, the ecosystem, the community, the population, the organism, the organ system, the organ, the tissue, the cell, the cellular organelles, the molecules, and then we have the atoms. That's all I have to say, and thank you.
Homeostasis is the characteristic of organisms to maintain their internal conditions by spending energy no matter the change of internal or external conditions. This is obtained thanks to metabolism. An example of homeostasis is the balance of glucose in the blood by the releasing of insulin produced by the beta cells in the pancreas to decrease the concentration of glucose on the blood. On the contrary, when it is needed glucose in the blood, the alpha cells releases glucagon that stimulates glycogenolysis in hepatocytes which synthesize glucose. An organ system is an ensemble of structures that carry out a specific work. The human body contains different organ systems that are important for our life. Those organ systems are the cardiovascular or circulatory system, which contains the heart, blood, and blood vessels, which transport oxygen and nutrients to the tissues, cells, and organs. Lymphatic system is composed of the lymphatic vessels and lymph nodes, where the immune cells are created and transported to all the body. Digestive system contains the salivary glands, esophagus, stomach, etc., making its solution of process of food with the consume of nutrients, vitamins, and minerals. Endocrine system is made up of pituitary and pineal glands, thyroid, parathyroid, etc. It uses hormones to communicate through all the body. Its integumentary system consists of the hair, nails, and skin, which gives protection from microorganisms, injuries, etc. Muscular system is conformed by the cardiac, skeletal, and smooth muscles that gives movement and support. Some of the parts of the nervous system are the brain, spinal cord nerves, and sensory organs, which collect, processes, and transfers information. The function of the reproductive system is to create gametes, sexual hormones, and offspring. It is conformed by the uterus, testicles, fallopian tubes, etc. The respiratory system distributes air. It carries out this function with the organs of trachea, lungs, diaphragm, etc. The skeletal system provides protection and support to the body's tissues, giving movement with bones, cartilage, tendons, and ligaments. The kidneys, bladder, and ureters are part of urinary system that eliminates the waste of body as excess of water. The immune system, which protects the body from microbiological pathogens, in structure is made up of lymph nodes, leukocytes, etc.
Hi, my name is Gustavo Adolfo and I'm gonna talk about cells. Cell theory. The cell is the morphological and functional unit of every living being. In fact, the cell is the smallest element that can be considered alive. The cell theory was proposed by Matthias Jacobs Schilling and Theodor Schwann. It tells that living organisms are made up of cells, that they are basic structural with all of organisms, and that cells came from pre-existing cells. Cells are like the basic unit of structure in all organisms and the basic unit of reproduction. The cell theory also indicates that the cells come from other pre-existing cells from the division of these. The microscope is a tool that allows you to observe objects that are too small to be seen with the naked eye. In the mid-17th century, the Dutchman Anton van Leeuwenhoek, using simple microscopes of his own making, first described the protozoa, bacteria, red blood cells, and sperm. Without any specific preparations, can be considered the founder of bacteriology. This